Hey everyone, and welcome to
Fika for Life!
My name is... Wow, that was a really long one. My name is Edward Thomas, and my co-host is...
Linh.
And today we have a special guest whose name is...
Mikael Rundström.
Yes. We don't really say that because none of us can really roll our R's. I mean, you do a little bit better than me, I think.
No, but my R is the wrong one because I do it in the back of the throat.
Oh, do that.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I can't do the front
You can't
one.
do this.
No, I
I can
can't.
do it. Man.
No.
I can do it. Also.
I do the Arabic one. Or the Dutch one.
And we're not making fun of anyone, so please don't write hate mail to us.
Well, the Arabic one and the Dutch one, I mean, they're both languages.
That's just...
Yeah.
Because
That's
they have
not Dutch.
potato in their throats.
Wait, in Holland?
No,
Arabs?
Does everybody have potatoes?
Danish.
I never do that. I looked down a lot of people who are from the Middle East. I looked in their throats. I didn't see no potatoes.
No.
I looked.
Do they
No, but it's a
usually
Swedish
eat
thing.
the
It's a
other
Swedish.
things?
It's a Swedish idiom that says that they have potatoes in their throats. And I keep thinking like potatoes in their
Isn't
throats.
it porridge in their mouth?
No, I don't.
That's the Danish. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Got it wrong.
And the reason we're talking about how Swedish people talk bad about other people is because today is the 6th of June, and it is the Swedish National Day.
Woo!
But you won't be getting this pod on that day. You're getting it after that. But in light of the fact that today is the Swedish National Day and that I have been in Sweden now officially 25 years.
Congratulations!
I know it's almost half my
obviously-
life.
You old?
No. No, I'm only like 30. I moved here when I was 5.
Wow.
I wish.
Wow, your language
Yeah.
skills are not that good, though. You were like,
Okay, see, Lynn does not have the gift of
years
encouragement. I'm just saying, listen, oh my God.
yeah, if you want
You're
encouragement, don't go to me. I'm sorry.
You're so into the whole performance thing. It's not the
No.
performance. It's the
No.
It's the content that matters.
You know, our friend Hamida, she said,
Yeah.
I'm really good at throwing shade.
I know, really. Exactly. She
I'm
shovels
not a
it
good-
hard.
I'm not a good person. Like, if you want encouragement, don't come to me because
I know, you're like
can't.
really bad at encouragement. I've been thinking about that. That's why I feel so bad all the time.
Hey, dude, at least you're laughing while crying inside.
no, I'm crying all over the place. Just see me when I go to the bathroom in the morning. I'm just like, ah!
Okay, so you've been in Sweden for 25 years.
No, but Michael, he was born here. He's been here like not quite as long.
21 years.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been in
baby.
Sweden. I was in Sweden before he was born. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be friends with a guy named Mikael one day. I feel
You'll
it.
be born in like 4
Yeah,
years.
exactly. It's like, hey, that was like a really good thing.
But-
You were a baby. I showed up at the hospital.
But you know, I'm
It's
whole
it.
Swedish.
Yeah,
My
he's
grandparents are Swedish, and their
Mine
parents
too.
and their parents and their parents
So
and their
it's
parents.
called
I'm sure one of those.
It's
I'm sure
1700s.
one of those people back who was a slave owner was Swedish too. I could feel it.
That's why it drew you back.
I
to
know. I
your
came back to my roots. Came back to my roots. You know, through all the horror of slavery. Yes, that's because that's what we talk about on the National Day in Sweden. We talk about
Slavery.
when Sweden used to own my people, and now they still haven't said, "I'm sorry." It just makes me mad.
They're like, it's just history, man. Get over it.
I know. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go up to the king. I think I'm gonna say, "Hey, king, good stuff, baby. You better apologize now, man, because I'm about to get down on you." And he's gonna say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Edward. I'm going to apologize for all the bad things that Swedish people have done to your people."
That's not a Swedish accent, though.
Okay, well, what is it? Do you do one?
I don't know.
Aha!
It's not,
Shut up, then.
but I know that's not a Swedish.
That was a
Anyway,
I want to talk to you about.
I've been in Sweden for 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, wannabe! You haven't made a quarter of a century yet. Ha ha.
Well, I'm barely a quarter of a century old, so sorry.
Sorry, excuse me, miss. I'm so young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so young and fresh with
So-
no wrinkles.
Okay, when you first came or heard about Sweden, what was the thing you liked most? You felt like, oh wow, I wish I had that in the U.S. or
A reindeer.
reindeer.
Yeah, the first time I came to Sweden, it was in December of 1994. And it
Were
was
you
during...
born yet? No.
Nope, not yet. Still no Mikael. I was looking far and wide. Where is Mikael? I couldn't find him. And so we were at this thing called Skilsondag, which is like at some point during Advent, all the stores are supposed to decorate their front windows, but they don't really decorate them like in the States. So there's no like robots and colors or anything.
Robots?
Yeah, there's like robots opening. I mean, there's the whole Christmas story. I was like, ooh, wow. Here in Sweden, it's like kind of like
Hey, tomte.
yeah, it's just a bunch of small little demons, small midget Santa Clauses. I'm like, ah, it was like frightful. But in the middle of the town square where they're having this sort of Christmas bazaar thing, there was a reindeer.
A living one?
Yeah, and I put my hand. It was like so soft and so thick. And I was like, and everyone was like looking at me like I was a freak because I was like, it's a reindeer. Oh my gosh, I'm touching a reindeer. It's like so exciting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's. I don't know, Lynn. I'm sorry. Miko's like, I don't know him. Get him out of my country. Woo, that guy's crazy. So that was the thing. I wish I had a reindeer.
It's at least better than another American I met. She thought that reindeers doesn't exist.
They don't
She
exist.
thought it was just a fantasy
Disney.
from Santa Claus.
Man,
Really?
she doesn't believe in Santa Claus either? Because I'm a true believer.
Oh my god.
Every year I write to him and he writes me back. And he says, have you been naughty or nice?
Oh my gosh, Ed.
And like, Santa Claus, I've been a really good boy.
No, then you would never have presents, Ed. You know that. I think when I first came to
thank you for the
Sweden-
gift of encouragement again. How was your trip to Sweden when they let you out of the cage?
I think I was 16. Yeah, I was 16. We had a student exchange. Me and Jonas' sister, like the first sister, we were in the same exchange group and we became friends. And I thought like Sweden was the Holy Land.
Really?
Well, I was 16.
Okay, I guess you've been living in a cave the whole time.
I came to Sweden. There was so like really nice nature, and the guys were so cute, and everything was so relaxed.
Wait. So you had a thing for Swedish guys? You like that tall Viking? You're like,
Oh my
ooh, look at
God.
these guys.
I don't
They
want
are
to-
so
I don't
tall
want to
and
get-
long, and I'm
No,
so
no,
short and
no.
Asian. You know what that means?
I couldn't help it. It's
I-
genetic. My husband
know.
is Swedish, so
And
I
he's
got what I
tall.
want. I got what I wanted.
I know he's like 3 times as long as you are.
Almost.
You should see them when they're walking down the street. You're like, whoa. Why is he with his little daughter like that?
Dude.
I know, I'm just kidding.
So that was my...
But you guys are a cute couple. I like you guys.
Yeah, I like me too.
Really? Wow, I thought she was going to give me some credit back. Oh, well, okay.
Well, you fell for a Swedish woman.
Oh, I mean, that's just voodoo. I think she took a lock of my hair and she made this doll. I was like, I can't resist this lady. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have to have her.
So what do you feel like now after 25 years? What do you feel like you appreciate most about Sweden, in Sweden?
You can have a second wife. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding on that. I'm just joking.
He's just
I love my
weird.
wife. I'm just trying to be funny. What do I appreciate most about being in Sweden? Well, I have a Swedish passport. No, that's like a really big thing because
Why?
that means like if Sweden gets invaded, I just go to another EU country. I'm not an asylum seeker. I can just move. I'm just
You
like
can go back to the U.S. where you came from.
that was really mean of you. You know, I can go back to Germany where you came from.
I'm not a German citizen, though.
Nah, but you have a Swedish citizenship, so now you can go to Germany and be like, in your eye, Germany.
True that.
It's like, I'm still here. You can't kick me out now. Got an EU pass.
So that's something that you...
Yeah, I mean,
happy for.
because if I go to a country that isn't like America, then I'm like,
Like all
Swedish
of-
pass.
Like all of the countries.
All the countries. America's great. We're the greatest nation on the earth. Bow down and worship us.
So I guess Sweden didn't get that out of you. 5 years.
Wait until the 4th of July. And so I shoot off all the fireworks. I'm grilling like big pieces of meat in the front of the house. It looks like a forest fire. Like, I'm just grilling here. It's the 4th of July. I'm an
I
American.
wonder-
Of course I can shoot weapons in Sweden.
Wow. I think I'm in a different life situation than you are,
Yeah.
so I really appreciate all the
Tall people in Sweden.
I appreciate all the parental leave and VAP and sick leave for your children.
You have to,
and all
you have
this
to, you have to,
stuff.
you have to,
Wow.
you have to explain what vaping is because people here they think VAP. They think, aha, you're smoking
It's not
electric
vaping,
cigarettes.
no.
Smoking
VAP
electric cigarettes.
is Vård.
Ward of Vård.
Yeah, it's when your kid is sick or has an appointment at a doctor or something like that, and you have to leave work and take care of your kid. You get 80% of your pay. It's like that's the same as
It's
your
like
sick.
you know what it's like? Monopoly. Get out of jail free card. You just call up at your job. You be like, in the nighttime, you give the kid like sniffles and you like keep the window open so
Oh my gosh,
they wake up in the morning and they're like,
Oh my gosh, you're horrible.
and then you call your job. You're like, oh, I didn't really want to do that report anyway. And you just say, hey, sorry, I've got a VOP. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll stay home.
No.
You know.
You don't want to do VOP too much.
No, okay, we're making fun of the system, but
Ed is making fun of the system.
Lynn's making fun of the system. In case the secret police are listening, Lynn is making fun of
it. He has no kids. And I mean, in Sweden, for example, when your kids, I think, are under 7 years old, or they have...
Under 50.
Before they finished first grade, you have the right to work 75%. Like, your job cannot make you work more if you don't want to.
I know. Yeah, I mean, there are some of these like cool things like that in Sweden.
And parental leave for like 1.5 years? What?
That's for women.
No, it's also for men.
Nay.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Really? Did they change that? Because when I moved here, men only got 6 months.
No.
And the women got 1.5.
Now, okay, let's say this. So you have 1.5 year altogether, and 3 months or 90 days are reserved for each parent. So you can't transfer to the other one. But of this 1.5 years, I could let Jonas be at home for the other, let's say, well, how much is it? 18 months minus 3. So 15 months he could be at home.
Uh-huh.
Or I can be at home for 15 months.
Well, that didn't happen to us.
Well.
They changed the law again. Everything gets better for all the immigrants that are coming after me.
Oh my gosh. So that's what I really appreciate about Sweden. And also I think the diplomacy in Sweden and moving around in the world with a Swedish passport.
I'm going to say moving around in Sweden.
Moving around in Sweden is also easy because everyone speaks Swedish, I guess.
I don't know. Nah, not everybody.
No.
Go down to the extreme south of Sweden. Nobody speaks Swedish. I've been there.
Danish?
No, they speak like, I went to like Malmö. I think like almost everybody in Malmö speaks like Arabic or something.
No.
They speak Persian. I'm like, what do you guys do? No one speaks Swedish here.
They
like,
do. It just sounds more funny. Look at Zlatan.
And does he speak Swedish? Jag heter Zlatan. Jag kommer från Sverige.
No, you're really bad at making impressions. Okay, moving on to Mikael. How do you feel
Mikael, yes, Zlatan.
How do you feel like, what is the greatest thing about Sweden?
Zlatan.
I guess it's peaceful.
It's peaceful. In Sweden or?
Yeah, and I like the forest and the nature.
Can I just make a comment on
and
this?
I could...
She's going to say something funny. Just hurry up quickly.
I can walk everywhere in the forest and I could put up a tent and sleep there.
Allemansrätten.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I was in New Zealand, I had to pay to go there. And I have to pay to the camping site. Even if they say it's free camping site, it means you can put your tent in the camping site, but you have to pay for it. That's what I mean.
That sounds free. That sounds like free. That's, I mean, it's down under. So, I mean, obviously, things are turned upside down.
Free things you pay.
Yeah.
Things you pay, you still
you
have
just
to pay.
Yeah, you just never stop paying there. They're like, it's free.
When you said that it's peaceful in Sweden, I don't know in what aspect, because I think I heard that we have as many explosions and bombings as Afghanistan per capita.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she means by peaceful.
Well,
it's like 5 people that live here, so it really doesn't.
It was more peaceful when I was a child.
Okay.
I think it's more peaceful. I mean, when I walk out in the woods, I may not see another person for like,
an hour.
At least. No, I mean, I can walk in the woods all day long and never see anybody.
Yeah, but that's depending on which wood you're walking.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the real woods, not like some kind of park. Lynn goes to the park. She's like, I'm in the forest. Little Red Riding Hood.
I grew up in Germany, okay? It's much more populated there. And there's no way you can get lost in the woods like that.
No, because every German's out in the woods. They're like all over the place. They're like,
they're going to get all your mushrooms. All your mushrooms.
Really? Do they pick mushrooms in Germany?
Oh, yeah.
I bet
Berries,
they do.
mushrooms, everything.
I bet. How many mushrooms have you taken in Germany?
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
that was a mean speech to say.
I'm a second generation immigrant in Germany, so I didn't
Really?
do much mushroom picking when I was growing up.
Really?
No.
Wow, so you
I
really
was
didn't get
illegally picking corn with my mom.
Wow. No, we're second generation immigrants. We don't pick mushroom, but illegal corn, woo! We were like all down for that.
My mom dies for corn. She
Does
gets
your mom
craving. Yeah, and then we're like, hey,
Really?
let's go get some
When is she
corn.
coming? When is she coming here again? Because I have like 35 corn plants.
She'll eat them all. Oh my God.
Okay, don't say anything. I want to know, so I know when I put the electric fence up, I'll be like, 10, you got to stay away. I'm sorry,
But the
baby.
thing
I
is,
love
like,
you, but
The
you like corn
that,
too much.
that you can buy in the store, she says it's a different corn because I think the corn in the store is much sweeter, but she likes the corn that grows on the fields, and I don't know if that's like for the animals or what kind of corn that is.
No, but the corn that grows in the field is actually sweeter than the one in the store.
No, I don't know. But
Because corn becomes less. This is my cooking experience again. Within 24 hours, the flavor of corn has already
Changed.
it's like 50% less than what
Okay.
it was. So the best way to eat corn is actually pick it, and within an hour to 30 minutes, you want to already have it in the pot.
Oh my gosh, my mom, we would do that a lot. And then always people had to be like out of the car and just look around, like if the police or someone like, and they would just
Man.
make sounds and like just leave the bag and then like, oh, I just just went to the bathroom, you know? And then would go outside and just walk and they were like, oh. Yeah.
Did your mom used to wear a mask and go in the bank and say, stick him up?
No. And we would also like go around and pick plums. My mom was desperate for plums and cherries when we grew up.
What is this? It's like it makes your mom sound like she's like a little rat or something. She's like, I just want corn and some cherries.
No,
So
my mom-
delicious.
My mom grew
Len,
up
give me
in,
some more
in
cherries.
really bad poverty, so I guess it just
Really?
traumatized her. Anyway,
Oh,
it's
okay. Now I
about
just have
Sweden.
to, I'm sorry, because I love your mom.
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, if she wasn't married,
She would whip your ass.
no, she would not.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like, think about what would you do if all of a sudden, like, somehow I just end up single, and then, like, in 5 years from now, I end up married to your mom, and you have to call me dad.
It would never happen, ever. Because my mom would be saying like, man, you do this mistake once, you don't do it twice. Don't chain yourself to another man again.
I'll be like, Lynn, I'm just your stepfather, but call me daddy.
And I'm like, since I know how your children are to you, have a good life.
Yeah, no, really, really. I'm like, oh man, this again. Oosh, save me.
So
no,
sweet,
I love my
Dad.
children. Okay, so anyway, so it's really good that if your child is sick in Sweden, they can't fire you
No.
for staying home to take care of a child, or like if your parents get like they have really bad dementia and you have to take off and take care of them.
Yeah,
you could do that in Sweden.
Yeah.
It's like really hard to fire people in Sweden. So
Which
I
is a
can
good and bad
I
thing.
can set the building on fire and I still can't get fired here.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, you have to help them to rehabilitate.
Yeah,
And
something must be wrong with him. He's probably was just mentally sick or tired, maybe stressed out. He might have had too much chocolate.
But you can tell when you remember when did you got fired or you didn't got a job because you said you would just fire someone if they would show up drunk. Do you remember?
That's when I was teaching English. That's when
Yeah.
I first moved here.
Yeah.
I was teaching English, and they asked me they said, oh, well, when you were a chef, like, so how did you handle people who came into work drunk? I'm like, they got fired. And they're like, what? Like, you fired someone? Like, if you come to my restaurant and you're supposed to work and you come in drunk, of course you get fired. That's just call in, hey, I was drinking too much. You got to call somebody in. I'm like, okay, you got to find someone to come in for you. But you show up to work. You show up to work.
Yeah.
And they were like, we thought you were really nice. You're like the neatest person in the whole wide world. And then they canceled. And I was making back then in the early 90s, I was making 250 or 280 crowns an hour.
Oh,
just
that's a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot of money back then,
That's a
teaching
lot.
English. And so the whole class, that was 15 people. Oh.
So they fired you?
They just stopped coming. They just stopped, and so the company had to refund. They had to get a refund for the class. Yeah. So it was one of those like really traumatic because I was like, but they asked me a question. I just told the truth. In America, we fire people for showing up to work drunk. I'm sorry, it's not like Sweden. Like, I'm sorry, you came to work drunk. Oh, what can we do to help you? I'm like,
Here,
what?
get a soda. Sit
I
in the
know.
corner. Maybe you feel better.
They might even give
in
you a
an
drink
hour or
here.
two.
Yeah. So that's the weird, for me at least, it was the weird side of Sweden and stuff. But
I think what I also like about Sweden is that you can redo your exams at university as often as you want, almost.
You can do it forever. Trust me.
And also, like, I think in Germany, it's like when you do your high school degree. Once you have that score, that's what you get for the rest of your life. You can't change your high school score.
Really?
That's what you have. But in Sweden, you can do.
You keep doing the test until you get a better score.
Yeah. You can improve your score. You can do the test in the class again and have this högskoleprov, that test, and even get into doctors or medicine and become a doctor just by doing that. And I think that's amazing that those windows are still open, even though you grow older. And it's not like you have one chance. If
you messed up 30 times, and they're like, "Oh, you still get another chance."
So I think that's
Sweden.
That's pretty interesting, though.
And when I studied at the university, so I had messed up on it. Sometimes when I first got to the university, I just didn't speak Swedish well enough, so I didn't understand. Like if they said the question with another word, and I was like, "That's not what I studied. What does that word mean?" You know, it's like, it was really frustrating. And so I had failed the test, and I was like, "Oh man, I got to take the whole class over." And my classmates were like, "What are you talking about? Just take the test again."
Yeah.
I'm like, but I failed the final. Just take it over. They're like, after like the 5th time, you could request to take it in another place.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
You can even explain to the head of the department, like, I have difficulties writing it down. Like, maybe I could do it orally.
Yeah.
Or like, could I exclude this and replace it with this one instead? And then they're like, okay. Sure.
Yeah. Sweden is very different from growing up in the States. And be like, I failed the class. They're like, well, better pay that tuition one more time because you have to take the whole class all over again.
That's really tough.
It's so non-European, huh?
But I mean, I think first when you feel like you have to pay so much taxes, but I still feel that somehow you get it back in certain ways. It's not like it goes into a drain and you never see it again and you never get anything from the government.
No, you get a lot of stuff. Did you learn that? Okay, so when you became a Swedish citizen, did you? What happened? Because I was at the castle.
Yeah, I got invited to the castle.
Okay, you had like your little fake Swedish flag, the little plastic one.
Yeah, but you know what was funny is that Nomi also Nomi was also invited to the ceremony, but she was born here, so I don't get it.
Yeah, that's because you're the mom. Okay, so in Sweden, if your mom is not Swedish and you're born, you're not automatically a Swedish citizen.
Yes, she is, because Jonas is Swedish.
No, because...
No.
I went somewhere I read it. No, really?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was somewhere where that if both your parents aren't Swedish, you don't automatically become Swedish because only one of them.
That could be like that, if not both of them. But you know Jonas, and he's very Swedish.
No, he's not. He looks like a Swedish white guy, but I think he's black.
Oh my gosh! No, you can't say that. You know why I came to Sweden? Because for the men.
I know. For the tall white guys. She's like, it's like a drug. It's like, oh, look at these tall white guys here. Vikings. It's like, give me more.
You know, when I started to go to Swedish class in Sweden. Because
when you're like drooling and foaming at the mouth or something.
No, but there were so many people from other countries and they came to Sweden. Why? Because of love.
Really?
So half of the class were like people from France or England or whatever country. Or
I'm sweet.
So their girlfriends, boyfriends were Swedish. That's why they were here. And the other half were Chinese people studying Swedish.
Really?
Yeah, like their major was Swedish. So that's why they were in that class. So I'm like,
wait.
50-50.
Why would people in China want to study one of the hardest languages in the world?
They're not the hardest language. But I felt like those Chinese people were kind of rich. So I don't think they need to.
Oh, so they just want to like, I need a challenge with my life. I'm going to study and major in Swedish. Why? I don't know. Just because no one else in China speaks Swedish and I can show off.
Because they can afford it. Like, you don't need to have maybe your family has money and you don't need to make a living in the same way as other people do. Like, you probably need to.
You know anybody like that?
No.
Because we need to get those people in our church to start giving their tithe. I'm like, God loves you more when you give more money. Really? Here you go.
So what do you think, how has your view on Sweden changed from the time 25 years ago.
Well, I became a terrorist last week.
A what?
No.
A what?
No, now the secret police is going to lock me up. No.
Dude.
No. I think that, so when I moved to Sweden, I just felt like everyone was cold and people didn't like me. And I mean, you couldn't make friends here. And then I felt like with time, God has changed my heart. So I actually love Sweden and I like being here. And whenever I'm back home in the States, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get home. And I mean Sweden. But when I'm in Sweden, I say, I can't wait to get home. And I mean the States. So I feel like I belong to both places. I really do feel Swedish American.
Swedish American.
Well, American Swedish, actually, because I'm more American than Swedish.
I think that.
What do you think, Mikael? Do you think I'm like really Swedish?
I think you're really more American.
Yeah, you're very.
You know, I hate both of you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna say that.
Crush your dreams.
I have worked hard to become Swedish. I mean, you could just almost change my name to.
But you talk with
Edward.
confidence.
Edward.
Edward
That's
Andersson.
what American
Edward
does.
Andersson?
Yeah, because a lot of people in Sweden speak with American accent.
What? Yeah, makes no sense.
In America town. In little USA. No one does.
But you know, you also get pretty Swedified when you are in Sweden because the culture is quite strong. Like it's quite restricting, so you
It's like
can't
the coffee.
you can't be yourself the same way as you're in other
Sure you
countries.
can.
And I mean,
People just ostracize you. They don't talk to you.
exactly,
They run. They see you and
socially
they
freeze
and
you
they,
out.
and they go to the other side of the street and just like, oh, don't talk to me.
But I think when I go to Germany, I always
Yeah.
feel like, oh, the people are so rude. And before, when I was in
Wow.
Germany and I lived there, I never felt like I didn't get why people from abroad would think that Germans are rude. But now living outside of Germany for 10 years and about to move back and like visiting my parents and just meeting all of German people, I feel like, wow, so they're really rude. Like
Well,
they
Lynn.
have there's no service mindedness at all.
Lynn, I
Yes.
have to tell you a secret. We all know that you're German.
But I'm not the same rude. I'm rude and I laugh at you.
That makes it better.
Because Germans don't have humor.
I'm going to insult you, and then I'm going to laugh at you when I do it. Oh, wow. I mean, she just spoke right into my heart. I just feel so touched by the rude lady who laughed at me. I can see that. That's going to make our church grow.
But don't you know that, I mean, but the German stereotype is that Germans don't have humor. But I feel like I have humor, don't I?
Yes,
Yeah.
You see?
You're definitely the strangest person I've ever met.
I'm not strange. Have you looked in the mirror lately?
Yeah. And anytime I look in the mirror, I see this Asian lady named Lynn. I'm like, oh, how am I looking like Lynn today?
So what Mikael are Swedish stereotypes? Like when people from other countries think about Sweden, what do you think is their stereotype about Sweden?
Well, at least with Swedish people, all of them have girlfriends. When I met Afghan guys, they said they asked me if I have a girlfriend. Why don't you have a girlfriend?
It's really
And-
important.
And they say every Swedish people have girlfriends.
Really?
Like
Wow.
you can't be single
Wow.
in Sweden.
Really?
Okay, but that's their view
Jeez,
because
I-
Sweden.
Exactly.
I don't know
Stockholm
what kind of
is-
people they know.
I
'cause-
think Stockholm is one of the cities that have the most single households.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the national the national statistic is that Swedes are about 45 or 48% of people who live in Sweden live with no connection to other people.
Single household.
Yeah, so it's not just Stockholm, but like all over Sweden, it's the national average. So
Wow.
that actually disconnected loneliness is a big, like, that's what leads to a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
It's because people feel they feel invisible, they feel disconnected, they feel unloved, they feel like they have no friends.
Which is true
Which
if
is
you
like-
don't have a social network.
And that's I mean, think like almost 48% of the country feels like that.
Wow.
That's pretty bad. So we have a lot, in spite of the fact that Sweden is like this really la land to live in. We have one of our biggest issues here is actually mental health issues, and not so. I wouldn't say so much like with being like bipolar or things like that.
No.
But it's more towards the depression.
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like in Sweden it's easy to become depressed.
Yeah, one thing is the weather. That's why Swedes are obsessed with the summer. They're obsessed with the summer.
I always thought that because Swedes were genetically related to potatoes and they just want to go out and bake themselves. Son, go bake.
No, but they are obsessed with summer and the sun. And I think Sweden one of the most common cancers are skin cancer
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's not a funny thing, but it doesn't surprise me.
because people are obsessed with just grilling themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Outside.
I mean, summertime. I mean, you see everybody walking on the street looks like a crab. They're all like all red and burnt. The skin's all crispy and everything. People are like putting butter on each other, a little salt and pepper. Like, yeah, it's just like a chip. Just peel it off, eat it. You know, that was disgusting.
So what would you guys say to people? Advice, like people just arrive to Sweden and you say, welcome to Sweden. And then let me give you an advice. What would that be?
Learn Swedish.
Learn Swedish.
If you're going to live here.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a Swedish friend, you have to go to a specific group. There you could maybe do an activity. Because that's the way how you could get more friends.
Yeah.
Just to walk on the street is a way more difficult.
Yeah, just approach people like,
are there any groups that steal corn? Because I'm thinking that like if Lynn's mom moves here, she needs to go to the group that likes to steal corn, like corn stealers. She's like, hey, you know, they're like, oh, come in, a professional.
Usually it's other Asians that just group up and go and steal corn together because the Swedish people are like, no, it's illegal. It's stealing.
We can't do that. I mean, they might get mad at us. I'm like, and all the immigrants are going like,
it's against the law.
Oh, there's no camera here. Free corn. And now we're making stereotypes. It's not true. Immigrants don't steal in Sweden.
Some of them, but some Swedes do the same. So what would your advice be? Welcome to Sweden. Let me give you an advice.
I'm like, you should learn the national song. Du gamle, du fria, du där kazamen. I don't even know the first
Do you know one? Do you know the first verse?
Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord.
Wait, but see, fjällhöga nord.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to try to get. I'm like,
to understand that.
Yeah, I'm like, high northern mountain. What?
Yeah.
There's no high mountains here. I skied in Sweden. There's nothing high here. I'm like, whoa.
It's a fjäll. Fjäll is basically a mountain that's cut off.
It could be also the scale of a dragon. Fjäll.
Yeah, true. Wow. Well, that's why Mikael said, go and learn the language because we get confused.
It also might be dandruff. It's almost like miel, fjäll. I mean, it's almost like the same
I mean,
thing.
it's
falling off your head.
It's also more easier to get a job if you're going to live there.
Oh, I was going to say, what? Can you get a job easily in Sweden? Where's that line at?
It's even, it's easier. I didn't say
when you know Swedish, I think.
But I think for immigrants, they should understand that you're going to have to probably live to at least 100 no's before you get a job. It's really hard to get a job in Sweden when you're an immigrant, especially if you don't have a Swedish-sounding name. So, like, if you come from the States and your last name just happens to be Anderson, people like, okay, Frederick Anderson. Or they'll say, Fredrik Andersson. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, let's take him in. But you come with your name and it's like
Chapinta.
Exactly. Chapinta Makalapi. And they'll be like, I can't even say that one in the trash can right now. We're not even taking a chance on that one, you know. And it's sad. It's one of the sad things about Sweden is that.
But it's not only about Sweden though.
Really?
There are a lot of other countries that have the same.
Is Germany a little xenophobic like that too?
Not only xenophobic, they did even a study where they like took a name that is stereotypically
like Turkish or something?
No, like, what was it? Peggy.
Okay.
It's stereotypically connected to, like, low socioeconomic status. Usually people who are like unemployed or like if they have issues, they usually give their children like English names like Peggy, Johnny, Mike.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not typically German name, but those people like those names. Justin, Kevin, like those names.
I don't have a job. I don't make any money, but you are going to be named Peggy.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I want to come to is that they had the same CV, exactly the same CV, send it out to all of these companies, one with Peggy and one with another name that is more like common German
like
name.
Ute.
Like Marie or...
That's a money? Wait, money is a common German name?
Marie.
Oh, the Marie. I thought you said money. I was like,
no.
Money. Hi, my name is
and
Money.
Then they heard from the companies, I think almost twice as much from the other name than for Peggy, even though it was exactly the same CV. So it's not only about the name, but I think in
Europe
Sweden,
sucks.
it's not about sucking. But I mean, when I grew up, my mom always told me, "You're an immigrant. You don't look like them. Your name doesn't sound like them. So you have to work twice as hard." And I don't feel like that. I'm like, I'm not whining about, white people don't treat me the same way. Well, because I'm not the same. That's why they don't treat me the same way.
And that's the problem.
Not necessarily. Anyway, I think for me, what I would tell people is to try to embrace the culture. Try to embrace. Like, it's not only about like, okay,
so
you're
you should
Muslim.
go to the.
No, you're Muslim. Oh, I don't celebrate Christmas. Blah, blah. But in Sweden, Christmas is a really, really big thing.
Yes.
And then
not Christmas with Jesus. Okay, this is Swedish Christmas. We don't even name Jesus. We don't even talk about. You can't even see
Father
a manger
Christmas.
scene in Sweden around
you
Christmas
do when
time.
you go to the church.
No, not even there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
A lot of
But
you just like
in the
some
Word of
churches.
Life, there are a lot of people.
Well, Word of Life's a free church. It's not the same.
Yeah, that's not the real church. The Church of Sweden. We mean the big one with.
No,
like
we wanted to talk
5 million
positive
people.
things about Sweden
Oh,
because
sorry.
it always gets into the negative one. So I think
I never say anything negative
I-
about Sweden. I kiss the dirt when I walk out the house.
so. I think embrace the culture in a sense. Also, like for me, when I got married to my husband, I embraced his family to try to be part of this society, not to create a
Really?
subculture, but to actually try to be together in the society. It doesn't mean you
Wow.
have to abandon your culture where you come from, but just to embrace it, like to embrace the culture you're living in now. That doesn't mean you
Wow.
should get drunk and all crazy like all the other Swedes, but just taking
You
part
can't-
in.
You can't say no to
being
alcohol.
there.
That's how I embrace the culture, though. No, okay. So I was supposed to give a serious one, not about the national song. Okay, can I have a redo on my answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that you should. No, I think that what both of you guys say is like really important because I think that you get further along in Sweden with bad Swedish
Yeah.
than you do with really good English.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people you'll meet, especially in the larger cities, most people understand English really well or can speak really well, but you still get further along with bad Swedish than you do with really good English.
Because you make an effort, though. Like,
I mean,
people see you-
just try. I mean,
I think Swedish people see you make an effort. You want
And then they laugh
to be
at you.
part of the flock,
Yeah.
which is really important in Sweden.
Oh,
to
oh
be
my
the
gosh.
flock in the flock.
Ooh,
You
don't be a
want to
live
outside.
fish. Only dead fish here. Look. Yeah, so I think the thing with the language and the thing like embracing the culture, but there's like a fine line.
Yeah.
So when you try to be more Swedish than Swedish people, then they just ostracize you because they're like, "Wow, dude, you're weird."
That's too much.
Like you don't have to go out and buy like the Swedish national, costume and everything, and dress your kids in their white, blue.
You
and
could do that. That's fun, though. I dressed Noe like that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but I guess when they're maybe really, but because your husband is Swedish, though.
Yeah.
Like if you had married a non-Swede and you were living here, and then you dress your
really
kids,
funny.
that's creepy. Okay, I'm just saying.
But if you want to,
You
I
know-
think it's different if the whole family dresses like
Okay,
that.
no, because then they're like, oh, immigrants, because Swedes don't even do that. Come on.
I feel like just do what the Swedes are doing.
No, oh God. So you don't talk to your neighbors, and you look at them and you Google stuff about them, but you never say hi to them.
Yeah, no, you are friendly. You say hi. But that's what we do in our neighborhood. Anyway,
Really?
we have to wrap this up.
Okay, yeah, we
Any
have to
last
wrap
thoughts?
this up. Yeah, I think
We
that
love you, Sweden.
Sweden, we love you. No, I think that living here for 25 years, I'm just amazed that I've been here this long, and that I've actually lived outside of the United States for more, for 25 years. I think I'm still shocked. Like I don't understand that
How does it happen to me?
I know. I'm like, how'd I leave my honey, USA? But I think that Sweden has become a part of who I am, a part of my life. And so one of the things I'm thinking about doing is that when I die, we'll have to divide my body in half. So half of it's buried here and half of it's buried in America.
Where's the butt going to be?
Hey, there's enough booty for everybody. Listen, you can divide. It's like a chicken leg. You just like a drumstick right down
I
the
can
middle.
take one to my
Half
garden.
here, half here, and then half in America. So my American side of the family has a place to visit me, and the Swedish side has a place
So, Mikael, you tell our listeners, how do you say, like, wish a good national day in Sweden?
Good national day.
We don't say that in Swedish.
No, we
one-
say
we're not
glad
patriot.
national dag.
Nej,
Nej?
no,
What,
no
what,
one
say,
says that.
what are we saying? Vad säger man? Är det inte glad
No,
national dag?
Glad
no, you know why?
national.
Because his response is really typical. Swedes are not patriotic.
No, they don't.
And so that whole except when Swedes are competing
Sports.
like against sports, against another thing, all of a sudden they get super patriotic. Oh, Serbia, we got to get Serbia.
But we want to end on a positive note.
Okay, but yeah,
One
so
fun fact for you people out there, in Sweden you have National Flag Day, so there are certain days where you're allowed to put your Swedish flag out. All the other days, if you do it in a public space, you can get fined for that.
no, you
There you
can't.
go.
You can't get fined for that.
Yes, you can.
No, the church has a flag up every single day.
No,
Yeah,
not the Swedish ones.
Yeah, the Swedish flag is flown every single day here.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Why there are flag days then?
Because they're flag days because they're so afraid that all the neo-Nazi and the right and the right extreme groups and stuff like that who want to have Sweden only for Swedes, and because they were the only ones going. So the reason we have a national day is because all these different groups took over the national day and the flag, and so Swedish people were afraid of being called a racist and a Nazi, so they wouldn't do anything with the flag. And the government decided we can't let an extreme group take over.
Our
and so,
flag, I mean.
yeah, and so that's why they instituted having the national day as a holiday. So it wasn't a holiday when I moved here.
No. Yeah,
You know, it's after year
they
2000.
took away Pentecost.
I know. Like, when the Holy Spirit comes, we take away that day so we can celebrate a day that Swedes aren't even proud of? Okay. Yeah, that was weird. So, but Swedes are not that patriotic. But maybe you can tell our listeners, they say something like, just say something nice in Swedish. And I'll tell them what you said.
Ja. Ha en bra dag.
Ha en bra dag!
Have a good day.
Yeah, ha en bra dag!
Ha en bra dag! Tack
Thank
så
you
mycket.
guys
Ni
for
har varit här med
listening.
Svika. Nej, med Svika for life.
Fika for life!
Fika för livet.
Fika för
Thanks,
livet.
everyone. Please continue to write to us and give us more things to talk about. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye!
Hej då.
Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Linh and Edward Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.